Oh, Shakespeare, Shakespeare.
Prologue.
Man is a herd that needs to live together, communicate, and learn from each other how to survive. At first glance, there's nothing special here. Still, a closer look reveals an abyss that's not easy to bridge, especially when it comes to religious relations, nationality, skin color, eye shape, and traditions. And to avoid falling into this abyss, we must understand the origins of love and hate, truth and lies, self-interest and self-sacrifice, respect and contempt, the desire to heal or kill, to help or ignore. So, what is love after all? A force, a feeling, or gravity? What could be more terrible than death? Can sin be sinless? But who will help us, foolish children, figure this out? Shakespeare, of course. Who else? Wait, friends, but Shakespeare died 400 years ago.
Dead?
Not quite. Johann Dark's 6 independent novels, collectively titled Romeo and Juliet Variations, are based on real-life situations. Don't be surprised if many of the novel's characters seem familiar. Who is Johann Dark? He is a doctor, motorcyclist, and Shakespeare's spiritual grandson. What is Variation first about? Two married couples, the Montagues and the Capulets, are close friends, but love crosses their paths and turns them into enemies.
But why?
It's not hard to guess. Romeo and Juliet were never meant to meet, but as often happens, what shouldn't happen inevitably does. Shakespeare, Romeo's age, introduces him to Juliet, and when Romeo and Juliet's eyes meet, they go mad.
But why?
Eyes can't talk, or maybe they can. Juliet asks Shakespeare to arrange a meeting with Romeo on her balcony at midnight. At midnight? What is this? A precaution? A forbidden desire? Lust? But Juliet is still just a girl, and adult pleasures don't play a role in her yet. What is this then? Shakespeare also didn't remain aloof from the intersection of these strange roads. He falls in love with Romeo and Juliet and wants to be with them at the distance of a breath. What is Variation second about? Jamila, Juliet's age, lives a simple, proper Arab life in a small village lost in the desert. She is always serious and focused, looking straight ahead with a furrowed brow. Jamila speaks little, attends a religious school, helps her mother around the house, and sincerely worships her father, Abdul, who is her role model in integrity and piety. To help his family escape poverty, Abdul agrees to act as guardian for 2 kidnapped Israeli soldiers, Ramil and Moss, whom he holds chained in his barn. Jamila has never seen Jews and knows nothing about them. When her eyes meet Ramil's through the barn window, she makes him a scary face and shows him her fists. Ramil imitates cow horns with his fingers and moos, then puffs out his cheeks and sticks out his ears, imitating a monkey. Jamila freezes in amazement, then, choking with laughter, lies on her bed for a long time, covering her head with a pillow, wheezing and shaking all over. Jamila learns that Jews eat people and believes it. Of course, she believes this because her mother told her so. Jamila hates Jews, but not Ramil, for whom she has become imbued with something spiritual and honest. She understands that Ramil must be killed and, standing before her parents, renounces her Muslim identity. Jamila is ready to die for her beloved Jew, and even literally more than die. What could be more than die? What is Variation third about? 2 lonely people, by the will of a cruel and tedious fate, find themselves in Moscow, without clearly understanding why. Stefan, hereafter Stepan, is a short, almost bald, overweight black man from New York. For 40 years, he has lived with his perpetually ill mom, devoting his life to caring for her. He has never touched a woman and has already lost hope in this event. His mom is dying and he is close to suicide, not because he is crazy, but because he can't find a reason to live. He hates summer with its metal-melting sun, and the coldest place where he can hide from his mother's empty room and catch his breath is Moscow on New Year's Eve. Matryona is an ordinary Russian woman who lives with her mom in a small village somewhere in central Russia. She's been dragging herself through her long, drab life for 35 years, running to the farm at dawn to milk the cows and, at sunset, collapsing into her lonely bed, her joints creaking. On New Year's Eve, She decides to go to Moscow, a city she's always dreamed of seeing, to breathe in the capital's air, recharge her batteries, and then return to her mom and the fat, kind cows. Stepan and Matryona meet in the elevator of their cheap hotel. They spend the daylight hours and even the dark parts of it together, but every fairy tale has its ending, and they part without even saying goodbye. But some force pushes Stepan off the already trembling plane and Matryona off the speeding train. This force is stronger than love, than pregnancy, and even bony death retreats before it. What kind of force is this? What is Variation Fourth about? Ivan, the son of a Russian woman from a remote village in central Russia and a Black American man, is returning home after completing his military service. He learns that his father, before his death, regretted leaving his mother's grave in New York City without a tombstone. Ivan is a hunter, and his most prized possession is his hunting rifle. He sells his rifle and travels to America to honor his American grandmother. In New York, Ivan finds the apartment building where his father and grandmother lived. He meets neighbors who remember his father and know where his grandmother is buried. By chance, he meets a girl, Maria, who lives in the same building with her parents, a Black American man and a Russian woman. Maria works in a store, is studying to be a fashion designer, and wants to live separately from her parents and without their help. She's persistent, determined, and detests Russians, considering them primitive, uncultured, and bent on destroying the world with their nuclear missiles. She refuses to hear of meeting Ivan again and reluctantly agrees to give him a ride to the metro station. Gangsters threaten the owner of the store where Macho works and, to force him to pay them, take Maria hostage. Ivan learns of this from Maria's father and, evading death by displaying unprecedented cruelty to the gangsters, frees her. Impressed by Ivan's selflessness, Maria shows him kindness and invites him to stay in America and be her boyfriend. She believes Ivan has fallen in love with her, and that's why he's so selfless. Ivan doesn't deny that he likes Maria, but he only risked his life because she needed it. The beautiful Creole, Maria isn't used to this attitude and bids Ivan farewell, but not for long. She finds him in his village and presents him with a choice, either she or his Russian girlfriends. If he doesn't want to live in America, she agrees to live in his village and be a milkmaid. What is it? Is this love, madness, or vanquished pride? What is Variation Fifth about? The year 1940 is drawing to a close. Hardened at Moscow University to the same steel as Comrade Stalin, the director of a Kiev school commissions a young, frail, lame, and half-blind Jewish mathematics teacher, Yasha Shapiro, to stage a modern Soviet production of Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. Yasha's actors perform the scene where Romeo and Juliet meet on Juliet's balcony and kiss at the school formal. In his production, Juliet is a Jewish girl from a bourgeois family and Romeo is a Red Army soldier. The school director fires Yasha, accusing him of anti-Soviet propaganda, and threatens to report him to the Soviet security services. In her opinion, a Red Army soldier who fights the bourgeoisie can't fall in love with a girl from a bourgeois family, let alone a Jewish one. Moreover, the play is staged in Ukrainian, a language Comrade Stalin doesn't speak. Yasha and his parents, Misha and Sarah, realize that they and their young daughters face imprisonment, from which Jews are not released alive, and decide to separate and flee Kiev. Yasha travels to a distant Siberian city to work in his profession, while his family goes to Misha's homeland in Belarus. Before parting, Misha asks Yasha to promise that, God forbid, he will never marry a non-Jewish woman, never forget his Jewish identity, and Yasha promises this to him. On the train, Yasha is robbed and left without documents, money, and clothes. At the final stop, in the city, he is mistaken for a thief, arrested, and threatened with death. Yasha escapes from the guards and jumps into the back of a truck, where he meets Ustinya, a girl returning from the city to her village. A local church minister shelters Yasha in his home, teaches him Christian prayers, and gives him a deacon's cassock. Yasha serves in the church and enjoys it. Ustinya, who has never attended before, now never misses a day. Love blossoms between Yasha and Ustinya. Astinia's parents firmly believe that all Jews are devils who drink the blood of Christian infants and would rather kill their daughter than give her in marriage to a Jew. Astinia and Yasha decide to flee the village, somewhere far away and forever. World War II is already in Belarus and Ukraine. There's no radio in the village, so Yasha goes into town to find out what's going on and buy newspapers. The policeman who once arrested Yasha pursues and shoots him. Yasha jumps onto a freight car carrying Red Army soldiers to war and unwittingly becomes a soldier. Astinia, unable to bear being separated from Yasha, steals her mother's money and, carrying a duffel bag, rushes off to find him. She is certain only that she will find him, that he loves her, and that they will marry. What is Variation 6 about? Mata Hari, a desperate woman, spy, stripper, courtesan, circus acrobat, and horsewoman, feared only one thing: her breasts, not those of a woman, but rather those of a boy, which she never exposed, even during a striptease and even for large sums of money, which she loved dearly. A Cambodian girl, Ivy, is short, stocky, wide-waisted, and flat-chested, unremarkable. She lives in Germany with her adoptive, alternative parents, who love her madly and never let her go far from them. Suddenly, they offer her a trip to America, accompanied by Adam, a tall, athletic, handsome gay man who is an actor at a Berlin gay theater. He has a secret mission that only he and Ivy's parents know about. Adam and Ivy are spending a boring time in a New York hotel. Ivy persuades Adam to take an unplanned day trip to Las Vegas. Adam reluctantly agrees. In Las Vegas, Ivy lures Adam to a strip club, where, breaking all the club's rules, she jumps on stage, undresses while dancing, and, with her final movement, removes her bra. Ivy never exposed herself to men, and even when looking at herself naked in the mirror, she shyly covered her breasts. Why did she jump on the strip club stage and dance naked? Perhaps to overcome her shyness? Fear? To prove something? But what? Or maybe it was just a stupid prank. Epilogue. Yes, Johanna Dark has asked you many questions, but you'll find the answers by reading Romeo and Juliet Variations. The book is available for purchase on Amazon, Apple Books, Barnes & Noble, Kobo, Smashwords, Tolino, Overdrive, Hoopla, Vivlio, Palace Marketplace, Gardner's, and Fable. Enjoy reading. Thank you.